Hello! Today I'm going to talk about how we did the paneling in the van. This video comes highly requested. Yay! It's also raining right now, so if you hear a little bit of like rain sounds, I apologize. There's nothing I can do about that. The first thing we did was create little wedges for in between the metal beams and the sides of the van. So we wanted to make sure that was flush. The second step was sealing the wood. This wood has a lovely pine smell, so when you first put it in, you open the door and everything smells like pine. It's really nice. To seal it, we used this Minwax, and we did 2 coats on either side. Then we had to put all the paneling together. Before we put it in, we had to stick it together. In order to connect the panels, we used a rubber mallet, wood glue, and patience. So although the wood paneling looks cool, we've discovered that it's a huge pain in the ass to put together. There are grooves in the paneling that kind of come together. So there's one receptive side, which is like this, and one side that goes in like this. You basically run a bead of glue along the inset side, and then you place the outer groove into that divot and kind of just hammer with a rubber mallet. They stick together. It'll kind of snap into place. The problem is that sometimes the boards aren't completely straight, they're slightly bent. So when you get a bent one, you just kind of have to either work with it or replace it. So this is what the paneling looks like before we've put it up. We kind of like glue one end of this and hammer it together, and then it ends up being in this kind of long slats. And then we used gaffer's tape to kind of tape it together on the back so it's really sturdy. So it goes like so. This is going to end up going up here. We've cut a hole for a switch for the sink and the pump, and then over here is a spot for an outlet. Remember, when in doubt, Gorilla Tape it. To stick the wood paneling to the ceiling, we used a combination of construction adhesive and sheet metal screws. We just screwed into those beams. So once the wood paneling was up, then we had to cut holes in the ceiling for the recessed lights. I'll show you these. We ended up being very careful and using a little hole saw that was perfect, actually, and just kind of went like that. We reached up there and pulled the wires through, connected them to the end of the lights, and then just popped the lights in. And the lights that we got came with these little like brackets so that once you pop them in, they don't pull back out easily. And right now, Michael is making this section. So as you can see, we did not put foam insulation all the way across. We are short enough that we can sleep long ways in the van, or sideways, I guess, in the van. So we, instead of just doing paneling all the way across, we are going to build out these frames that look kind of like, actually look exactly like this. So here's the back. Michael's putting on the final touches. Ta-da! So that's going to go right in. We're going to have 2 of these made so that we have enough room to sleep. In order to do the frames, that's this piece right here. So if you can see, it's more recessed here than it is here. And this is so when Michael and I sleep, we can sleep this way with our bodies facing that way instead of that way. Those frames were glued with construction adhesive, and then we put paneling on the back and did the same thing we did with the ceiling, but on these frames. And we glued them into the recessed parts of the van, and then we used expanding the spray foam to go around the edges to really like secure it in. And then we used finish nails to kind of nail the outer paneling to the side of the frame. And this is the final product. As you can see, the one downside to these panels is how much they shrink and expand. So we did 2 coats of the Minwax, but because we go from really dry places to really damp places pretty frequently, we noticed that the boards will expand a 1/4 inch or shrink a 1/4 inch, which is a lot. We know we're in a dry area because there's a gap back there that will actually start to open up and you can see behind it. A way to mitigate this in the future, I think, would be to either do more coats before you install it, so like 6 coats of the Minwax to kind of seal it up so it doesn't expand so much. The instructions for the wood boards say leave them in the environment you're going to be installing them in for 72 hours. So we did that, we put them in the van 72 hours, but even so they shrink and expand a lot. And I have a feeling it's because the range of temperatures that the van is exposed to. However, I don't work with this material all the time, so I'm not sure if that would really help. I would love to hear thoughts and opinions on how to prevent this if we ever do it again. So ta-da, that's how we did the paneling. Let me know if you have any questions. Follow me on Instagram at OneChickTravels. Check out my website at onechicktravels.com, and we'll see you next time.